Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of King of the Hill, I want to talk about the robots. It's time for another duel, the one between the Nukebot and the Microbot Alpha. The robots have an unusual distribution of minions in that they have the standard distribution, but then they have additional minions. Who is the King Minion? Is it Nukebot because he represents the King Minion of the normal distribution? Or is it Microbot Alpha, one of the more feared minions in the game? Does it even matter? After all, King Minion is an arbitrary title. But this is an academic exercise, so just go with it. Unlike my previous comparison of the Supreme Overlord and Ninja Master, where I present arguments for both ways before stating my opinion, I'm just going to come right out and say that Microbot Alpha is by far the King Minions of the robots. In fact, Microbot Alpha is one of the most powerful minions in the game, and Nukebot is one of the more disappointing minions in this faction, in my experience. When I think about the normal robot distribution, I love the Zapbots. They chain together and can unleash some really powerful minions. The Hoverbot is great because you can get an extra minion played on any base. I love when a Hoverbot reveals a Zapbot, allowing you to play Zapbots from your hand. I also like the Warbot's indestructibility, as it increases the chances of you having a presence on the base at all times, unless it is moved or returned. And then there is Nukebot, with an ability that sounds great on paper but doesn't work in practice. Yes, it's nice to have one extra power, and the Nukebot seems indestructible by creating a deterrent. A player wouldn't knowingly destroy Nukebot and risk losing all their minions as well. But the robot player could destroy Nukebot themselves to create the same effect for mass destruction. However, I have never actually seen this happen. Ever. I'm sure it has, but I expect it to be rare for a number of reasons. In fact, more often than anything, players don't realize what the card actually does. They want to destroy Nukebot on Cave of Shinies to destroy all minions, including their own, but that's not how it works. It only destroys other players' minions. Once I tell them that, they stop in their tracks immediately. So why is the destruction so rare? Because the robots would struggle to do it themselves. They only have one destruction card, the Microbot Guard, and it functions like an obligatory gnome. You must destroy a minion with power less than the number of minions on this base. In order to destroy Nukebot, Microbot Guard would have to be the 6th or greater minion on that base, including Nukebot. Let's do the math. The worst case scenario is that your other minions are the other Microbot Guard, 2 Microbot Reclaimers, and the Microbot Archive, all of which combine to 4 power. Nukebot and the guard you are playing make it 10 total. How much are you losing on a base that you would want to blow up Nukebot? It's much more likely that these 1 power minions are power 2 instead, so you would have 14, maybe even more with Microbot Fixer boosts, or your bigger power minions. Instead, you typically need your partner faction to blow up Nukebot, and there are some cards that do this well. Sacrifice comes to mind as it will let you draw 5 cards, which sets up a great robot chain later, while destroying all opposing minions. But I still have problems with this. First, I prefer to keep the minion, so I would play Sacrifice on Warbot instead, and just draw 1 less card. And if my opponents have enough minions on the base to merit sacrificing Nukebot, it means there is likely enough power to settle for a cheap 2nd or 3rd place that I would ordinarily find preferable. There are going to be times when it's better to take the sacrifice, but robots are so strong that, in countless games of Smash Up in person and on the app, I've never seen this happen. I've even discarded Nukebot after a tech center because I value the other minions more. And that's a really surprising thing to say about a supposed King Minion candidate. In my opinion, Nukebot doesn't hold a candle to Microbot Alpha. I've had this argument before, and some people have asked, why isn't the Microbot Alpha a power 5 then if it's the King Minion? I actually think Microbot Alpha is one of the rare minions that actually benefits from having less power because it increases the flexibility tremendously. Only a few cards actually call for playing a minion with more power, and usually it's a fixed amount. But plenty of cards allow you to play an extra minion with less power or a minion of power 2 or less, and this is where Microbot Alpha shines. Not only can you chain Zapbots into the Alpha, which makes for a great power drop on any base, but cards like the Zombie Lord can easily bring it out into play, and the base doesn't necessarily matter. It makes for a great finisher to the homeworld, and any other base where you can play an extra minion of a specific size. Don't let the printed power of 1 fool you. This minion grows quickly and can easily eclipse King Rex in terms of on-play power. But the Microbot Alpha also turns all your minions in play into Microbots, which is amazing. Unfortunately, this doesn't mean your Reclaimer can shuffle Zombie Lord into your deck. The name only applies to minions in play. Smash Up had to cap this minion somehow, but you have 2 Microbot fixers that can give +1 to every Microbot regardless of base. This means all of your minions. Because it has an ongoing ability, the Microbot Alpha's power will fluctuate all phases of a turn. This makes it difficult to pull off the 2-base combo if you make a mistake. Microbot Alpha makes for a great finisher to a base, but only if you score that base first. A common mistake is to score the other base first, then Microbot Alpha's base, but what happens is that the Alpha goes down in power severely when those minions leave play. Because of how scoring works, a base that previously would have scored would not still score, so you would want Alpha's base to score first. However, if you are relying on the globalization of fixer power to score the non-Alpha base, then the second base wouldn't score, so you have a choice. In this case, I would almost always opt to choose the Microbot Alpha base because I'm more likely to keep the lead on the other base, given how much I've invested in order to make the Alpha singularly strong. If the Alpha gets depowered, there is no guarantee that will remain on the base or ever reach sufficient power again. To avoid this, make sure that the first base will score independent of Alpha's presence, which would allow you to score Alpha's base first and then the second. Of course, if Factory 4361337 is out, going all in on that base may be enough to break open the game irrevocably. I've scored at least 11 points on that base, and if you manage to still lose after that, you probably deserve it. What really stands out about the Microbot Alpha is how well it works regardless of pairing. Even the Kaiju, who have 3 minions, can compete with the Alpha because of the sheer number of minions that the robots have. The robots have 18 minions, and with Fixer, it has an upper boundary of 20 power with just robots. This minion can break single bases by itself, and I've seen it happen, whereas I've never seen the Nukebot get destroyed. When I draw Nukebot, I'm actually a bit upset because it works against the Microbot Alpha strategy where the quantity matters more than the quality. I'd much rather have the Hoverbot. Many players think robots are unbalanced, and if they feel that way, it isn't because of Nukebot. Don't let the printed power fool you. Abilities drive factions, and Alpha drives the robots. It is the true King Minion of the faction, and I'd like to see Smash Up explore more factions where the lead minion is intentionally not the highest printed power. It's definitely untapped design space, just like most of the robot structure. We haven't seen a faction with more minions than actions, and we haven't seen a faction with subclassifications of cards. Hopefully that will change in the future. Who is your pick for the Robot King Minion? Is it even close? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.